Let's get into it. Coach Colin news. There is a red wave that is coming at Chicago right now. Chicago is about to get hit with the reddest wave, like the Kool-Aid man is about to break through a wall or something. It's getting pretty serious. The people of Chicago are fed up, and I love the display of going and voicing your opinion, because they do it so much. And sometimes it's some of the same faces, but a lot of times it's a lot of the new faces, and there's always at least 100 or 200 people in attendance, and they're making themselves known. They're pretty much threatening, saying, hey, we're going to vote differently if you keep doing this. I absolutely love to see it. Now, what has happened is Mayor Johnson, his name's Brandon Johnson, very woke mayor, refuses to call riots. He'll call them gatherings, refuses to lock up the people who are in the riots, says that they're young people and that they just need opportunities. It's completely ridiculous. So he's super woke. Not a part of the World Economic Forum, surprisingly. I'm sure he's gunning for that spot eventually, but what he plans to do is spend $70 million on illegal immigrants. And the people of Chicago are just wildly upset about this. And the numbers are very big. You're about to hear some wild numbers. But let's hear from the people first. This gentleman first, then we got another person, then there's going to be a full breakdown I'm going to play for you guys. Let's go.
Attacking people in the streets. The police are fighting with them in the shelters that you guys are funding. You guys think it's a great idea, but yet your police officers are getting attacked. Your public's getting attacked. You're putting our lives at risk by doing what you're doing, and none of you care about it because the mighty dollar sits on top. And as long as somebody's in your pocket that you're working with, you're okay with doing it. You don't care about the citizens. At some point in time, there's going to be an answering for this. What it is, I don't know. But it doesn't look good. And I don't respect most of the people that are in here because you turned your back on the citizens and you said your voice doesn't matter.
They're all wearing these red hats that say no more blue. They're wearing shirts that say no more blue. It's incredible to see. And I love that guy said, just outright, because, people often think it's conspiratorial to bring that type of thing up. But he's like, someone's in your pockets. And when you start hearing the numbers, undeniable. Now, again, I don't know that for sure, but it seems like it. Because the city of Chicago, if you know about Chicago, has needed help for a long time. And then all of a sudden, you get this rush of immigrants. And you got 300 million here, 150 million here, 70 million here. I think I heard numbers of they've almost spent near $1 billion on this. Why couldn't you do that for the people? Why couldn't you better equip the police? There are men who have wild ammunition. The gangs in Chicago have wild ammunition. Why couldn't you set up community centers? Why couldn't you just do more programs? Why couldn't you hire a bunch of coaches and motivational types and therapists and just start setting it up so you could change the generation and how they think? I'm glad these guys are saying that they've lost respect. Here's another person. Look, again, that hat. Oh no, she's straight MAGA. She's not playing around. Chicago red on the shirt. There we go. Listen to this.
Millions of dollars to give to people who ain't paid a dime into the tax base. We've been in my building for 52 years. We're about to pay some more taxes. The Jones family has been in their building for 45 years, paying taxes every year on time. So I'm asking y'all to use our tax money for our people. We need it. We got people leaning. We got people rocking. We got overdosing. We got pass out lines. You live on the west side, Mayor Johnson. You know exactly what I'm talking about. We need the money for us. We need opioid treatment on the west side of Chicago. We are the headquarters of the cartel, and everybody in here knows it. They selling more drugs than the law can allow, and y'all giving money back to them because they traffic those people up here, so we paying them going and coming. Absolutely not. We pay too much. It costs too much money to live in this city. Help Wanda Jones. Help every other grieving mother who feels like she has to go get high to get over the loss of her child. This is a woman who lived in that house. She still sleeps in that living room where her daughter passed out and bled to death. So I'm asking y'all to say no, put these people on the back burner, and put the money back in the opioid fund. We need that money. Thank y'all.
Wow. That is something that I didn't even think of. And obviously, this is not something that you would know unless you're in Chicago. But she's saying, you know, that the cartels are responsible. So they're the ones trafficking the people. So they're getting paid coming and going. Wow. That's very true. Didn't even think about that. That is, wow. Because they're getting paid for the drugs that are coming in, and they're getting paid for the people coming in. Whoa. Man. I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, of course I know. It's different when you hear it from the people who are on the ground. She's in the neighborhood. She's talking about buildings. She's saying she knows where this guy lives, this woke mayor. She's saying, you live on the west side, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's the crazy thing. Again, if he lives on the west side, like she's saying, how come he doesn't, if he's walking outside and seeing this type of stuff, how is he not stepping up? How do you walk out of your own place and see everything that's going on? The overdoses that she's talking about, opioid issues that are happening. How do you not say, I'm the mayor, this is the first thing I'm dealing with? How do you not do that? And now also, I get it. If you have all these immigrants coming, you do have to deal with that. I understand that completely. But I don't understand how every governor and every mayor aren't taking a stand and saying, the administration, Biden, you have to secure the border. Right now, I have my actual residents who are going to vote me in or out, and probably out for Brandon Johnson. It seems like he's going to be out. They're actually coming to me. They're making their voices heard. They're screaming at me for this to stop. I need to handle the immigrants, so I do have to actually put this money towards them. The residents hate it. I need you to secure the border. How is not every governor saying that? And he just stands there the whole time. You guys can't see it, but he's in a different camera angle. He's just standing there. He doesn't say anything. There's no apologies, nothing. It's almost like he's like, yeah, I'll stand and just take this for 30 minutes and then I'll just go and do exactly what I'm going to do. And I'll show you what I mean by that after I play this clip for you, so you can get a little more of a breakdown of what's happening here. Listen to this.
With somebody who's obviously a one-term mayor, if he even makes it that far, you better be worrying about your job. You better be worrying about your longevity, because we're going to vote and we're going to get you out because you ain't doing right by us. That's what time it is.
Chicagoans furious and sounding off on Mayor Johnson's plan to tack on another $70 million to migrant funding. Frustration building to the point that some voters are now working to get him out of office, as you heard that constituent there saying. Garrett Tenney live in Chicago with the story. Hi, Garrett.
Yeah, Dana, good morning to you. This migrant issue has become an Achilles heel for Mayor Brandon Johnson, so much so that there are now multiple efforts underway to vote out Democrats and the mayor. We saw that yesterday at the city council meeting, where several groups of black voters showed up wearing red shirts with the words "No More Blue, Go Red," and "Turn Chicago Red." Many of these folks are lifelong Democrats who are now actively working to shake up deep blue Chicago, specifically because of how the mayor and the governor have handled the migrant crisis, doling out more than $1 billion so far for that. And here they are warning the mayor and city council about transferring another $70 million from the city's rainy day fund to take care of the migrants.
We need that money in my neighborhood. We need that on my block. So I'm asking y'all to use our tax money for our people. We need it.
You vote for the money for these immigrants today, and we coming for them seats. You can believe that.
The police are fighting with them in the shelters that you guys are funding. You guys think it's a great idea, but yet your police officers are getting attacked. Your public's getting attacked.
Currently, state law does not allow voters to recall Chicago's mayor, but after seeing how Mayor Johnson's first year has gone with the migrants and crime, a new group wants to change that by getting a referendum on the ballot this November that would pave the way to voting Johnson out.
We're not taking care of Chicago citizens first, and that's what it's all about. The fact of the matter is that we've never had this opportunity to recall before, and it's very apparent based on the mayor's abilities right now, or lack of accountability, that this needs to be addressed.
Yeah, Mayor Johnson is dismissing this recall effort as a right-wing effort from folks living out in the suburbs. But Dan laughed at that, saying he's lived in Chicago for 33 years. He is an independent. And in the 24 hours since news came out about this effort, he said there's been an outpouring support from folks of all backgrounds looking to sign on. Dana?
Garrett Tenney, thank you. They're in Chicago for us.
I'm Steve.
Oh, it happens. Now I'm gonna get so many comments. They're gonna be like, your audio's off. Your audio's off. Your audio's off. I'm gonna get 20 comments. Your audio's off. Oh, I apologize. Let's go through it again. I was just saying, huge numbers here. 300 million. It could exceed 300 million. He was definitely right about that. Numbers in the billion. And then I was just saying here, I was reading, and I'm sure you could read it too, as I was just going, I'm sure you were able to read it, but this 70 million is in addition to 150 million set aside in the city budget to address the migrant crisis. Wow. So we're talking about near $1.2 billion spent. What, you know what really makes me think right away? What could that have done for Chicago? What could $1 billion do? You know? It probably could have helped the homeless situation quite a bit. Because, you know, people have been throwing out numbers that the homeless situation, in order to solve it, would take about 25 billion. That's for the entire country. So I wonder what $1 billion could have done for their homeless population, could have done for their drug situation. Like, what could they have done with that? And we'll never know, because even when this crisis wears off, they're not going to suddenly say, Man, okay, now the immigration crisis is done. Let's focus on you folks. They're just not going to do that. If they were going to do that, they could have done that a year ago. He could have done that when he first got in office and he wasn't dealing with this. The mayor before that could have done that. This could have been done for years. And that's the good thing about this migrant crisis, is that it's showing that they can, out of nowhere, have hundreds of millions of dollars. It can be put in the budget. It can be done. But for some reason, they just haven't been doing it. It's absolute. My nose is, oh my God, my allergies. The only thing I hate about the seasons changing is my allergies go insane. Insane. I'm not gonna do you guys a disservice of blowing my nose on camera. But how much could it have done? And this is the thing. This is why it's so hard to not think that this is by design, because that's the most nefarious thing to think, is that they're doing this to the residents on purpose. You don't want to think that about any government entity. You don't want to think that about a mayor. You don't want to think that about Chicago, New York, and California. But it's hard to argue, because as soon as a crisis popped up, they had the money, which means that they had the money. And if they didn't have it set aside already in the budget, whatever, what have you, they could have acted like Chicago was in a state of emergency, which it arguably is, between the gun violence and the drugs, all the issues that Chicago has been facing for years. They could have said, it's an emergency. We need to fix this next generation. The children who are 10 to 14 years old, we need them fixed. We need them to grow up as well-adjusted, proper citizens. We need this to be a better place. And we need to just fix the generations coming. They could have done that. And it's obviously it needs to be done. Ah, man. Very interesting. But again, silver lining. I'll correct that. The red lining in all this is that Chicago looks like they are never going to vote blue again. And at least it's making these black people who feel like they're Democrats for no reason, like as if they were just born Democrats, it's going to make them start to think, let's hear what this Republican has to say. Let's hear what these people have to say. And when they start hearing the law and order that these people want, right? Because, obviously that's my hope. I don't know who's running or who would be running, who's a Republican, but usually they're embracing law and order. They're embracing less people on the streets doing drugs. They're embracing a secure border. So once they start hearing that with everything that they've seen, more than likely Chicago's going to flip. Oh man, Chicago's going to become Trump territory. Man, I can't wait to see it. Honestly, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the red wave coming through, what these people had to say. And let me know what you think about, out of nowhere, having money in the 8 and 9 figures to deal with this issue, but never having that money to just deal with the people living in poverty for years. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments. I'm out. Subscribe.